Hello, New Wave of British Heavy Metal.com here again. It's the 13th of December 2020. Before we get into this one, the usual opening favour, if I may, and that's that you please consider at least subscribing to the channel. That'd be a big help, really appreciated. Let's get into it. A little bit earlier today, I put up a video reviewing Trick or Treat's Rabbit's Hill Part 1. And now I thought I'd follow that up with looking at Part 2. And of course, this is Part 2 of Trick or Treat's take on Watership Down. You know, that the old classic book from a few decades ago. Now, whilst it's not arguable, at least I would say the done thing in power metal circles to do concept albums, let alone one based on a story about fluffy bunnies looking for a new home, and it's quite got a dark twist to it, Watership Down, if you've ever read it. And anyway, to make it a two-parter, even more ambitious. I mean, Part 1, excellent. I'll put a link to the review I did this morning underneath in the description here for that if you want to check it out. But you know, Trick or Treat really have pulled this off with some style. A two-part concept piece about rabbits. Fantastic. You know, but joking aside, this is part 1 was excellent. Part 2 is just as good. And you know, it completes the tale in some style. And it's an album just like Part 1. It's full of power, melody, scorching riffage, blazing fretwork, and a nice sense of humour too, given, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, that Watership Down, if you get into it and read it properly, it is quite dark, you know, deceptively so as well. But the band managed to capture everything here without affecting an overall feel-good factor as well. So they pull all that off. Now, Trick or Treat sound more like Halloween than Halloween themselves. An example of that being the opening track here, Inlay, the Black Rabbit of Death, gallops along like anything the Pumpkins have done at all throughout their career. It's excellent, it really is. But given it's much more than a Germanic style power metal clone, Trick or Treat can mix it all up in their own style too. The power metal's at the root of it all, sure, although interwoven throughout a fine sense of melody amongst all those big chords, riffs and screaming solos. The pace changes too, with some nice slower parts mixed in. Even a very fine like smoking ballad style with Never Say Goodbye. But overall, this is melodic power metal at its best. It really is. Check out Cloud Rider, for instance. Big vocals, big riffs, the twin guitars, throbbing rhythm section. Fantastic stuff. And even the great Tim Ripper Owens gets a guest slot here and puts in a really big performance on They Must Die. He really does. So there's a bit of a new wave of British heavy metal connection too with Ripper. But the whole album doesn't miss a trick, or indeed a treat. Get the pun there? Well constructed, well paced, powerful, melodic, expertly done. The band flex both their musical muscle and creativity throughout this really fine album. It's nothing less than enjoyable listen at all times. It really is. So with Part 1 and now Part 2 of Rabbit's Hill, Trick or Treat show that, for me at least, they're up there, really are, with the likes of Halloween, Gamma Ray and all the rest, and can hold their own against all that lot as well. So Trick or Treat, Rabbit's Hill Part 1 and Part 2, check them both out. So underneath in the description I'll put a link back to the video reviewing Part 1 that I did earlier today, together with links to Part 2 on Amazon and also the blog post if you'd like to check all these things out. I really recommend that you do. I mean, Trick or Treat, fantastic. So as usual, do that, check it all out, links below. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and of course, as always, take care. Oh, and subscribe to the channel if you would please, that'd be great. Thanks a lot.